John Chen, welcome to Calm Clear Conversations. I'm Christopher Johnson with Calm Clear Communications. And all right, I did something a little bit different today. Background music. Why background music? Because I knew John would chair dance. But John does more than chair dance. As part of his online persona, he holds karaoke. So, John, my first question for you, sir. Do you have to be able to sing to participate?
No, that's the best part.
I can do it.
Oh yeah, Christopher. We tell people hang out or sing, right? If you want to just be part of the peanut gallery, like if you've ever gone to a karaoke bar and you don't want to be one of the singers, but you come in there and like you support, you applaud, right? You hang out. In between every song, we give an opportunity for the audience to make comments to the singer. And you being a very nice, supportive, amazing person, I'm sure you'll have some great things to say. We get singers from all over the world. And sometimes, every so often I feel like it's like America's Got Talent. Like somebody comes on there, you just met them and they start singing. In that first 3 seconds, you're like, where has this person been my whole life? This person's amazing. And so,
absolutely. Yeah. So that was an abbreviated introduction. You are way more than the host of online karaoke. You are a virtual event producer, designer, consultant. Did I leave something out?
I also speak and MC at virtual meetings.
That is true.
And I also just got back from an amazing vacation where you'll love this, Christopher. It was 14 days with no plan. And as a producer, we spend all of our time planning for everybody else, like what's going to happen literally to the second. And I felt like I needed to counteract that. And so I spent 14 days and I literally did not know where we were going to go, where we were going to stay, where we were going to eat. And it was refreshing to say the least.
And you survived.
And I survived. Although I got to tell you, there's some first couple days is what I call planner anxiety going, I really don't know where I need to go. Wait, where are we going? What's happening? I need that. I think I need that plan. And, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just need to be present to what's going on. And we drove up and down the Pacific Coast Highway in a convertible.
Nice.
And it was just spectacular, right? Around every turn was like an amazing surprise.
A well-earned, well-deserved vacation. So virtual events. How do people have virtual events? And hey, we are in sort of the same space, but I don't view us as competitors because the types of events that we do, they vary.
I feel like we're allies or champions, Christopher.
Absolutely. A couple of friends, co-opetition.
Yeah.
So Brenda Meller, Terry Bean, I've heard them use that phrase, co-opetition. There is enough for everyone. So who is your target audience? What types of virtual events do you put on?
Well, I'll answer your original question, Christopher, first, which was, how, and I'll add the bar, which is how are most people doing virtual events? And unfortunately, the challenge is sometimes not that good. And I think that's why there's plenty of opportunity, Chris. That's why I so enjoyed meeting you and seeing that we have around the same energy and the same mission, which is there are plenty of still bad virtual meetings. And that, our mission is we need more of us. Right? We need more allies, more people who know how to and actually execute, virtual meetings. So the way that I do it is that, again, we go through a design process and really look about what is somebody trying to achieve. Sounds simple, but sometimes it's very difficult words for a client, which is, what do you want? Because sometimes they answer the question with the method and not the goal, which is I want a webinar. Wait a minute. What do you really want, right? Do you want to impact somebody? Here's a great one. We produced the International Women's Day for Canada, right? And so the real goal for that is that they said, well, we want to inspire women. And then one of the side goals was we want to re-engage many of the people who have volunteered with us who we haven't seen in a year or two. And they were very successful with that. Many people after the program themselves opted in and said, how can I help? And, for a nonprofit or anything like that, which is like, it's hard enough to get people to say, if you ask them, will they do something? But when it goes the other direction, when a volunteer comes in themselves and volunteers their precious time to your organization, that's like one of the highest honors. So anyway, we designed through that, and then we, design and decide how we're going to do these things so that when they come off in such a way that it will create that result, right? That will move somebody emotionally. Actually, Christopher, today I really need to dedicate today's program to my very good friend Elizabeth Glau, who is also a fallen ally. A year ago, she lost her life to breast cancer, and but I was honored enough that she asked me to be her virtual producer for her memorial, and she left me with one thing. Today's her 1-year anniversary to her passing, and so in honor of her, one of the best memories I have is we were working on a new virtual meetings manifesto. Right? Like, how can we elevate? What guidelines can we use for virtual meetings? And she gave me this one piece. We need virtual meetings that make you cry in a good way. Right? And so that virtual can be emotional, virtual can be connecting. Virtual is not these things that people write about, like the fatigue and boredom. It can be this way. It's just that, we need special people like you, to help make it that way. And that's really some of my goals then, is to actually have that happen. And the last piece, Christopher, is a little bit like my trip, which is then have the last set of plans that come around when unexpected stuff happens. Right? Whether it's bad, right? Like Zoom bombers, or it's good, like something. We've had certain meetings where something so inspirational happened, and it happened purely by happen chance. Right. And so do you mind if I actually share one example for that?
I don't mind at all. Please do.
I was the virtual MC for the presentation summit. That's Rick Altman is the leader for that organization. If you also if you're a presenter, look up the presentationguild.org. It's an association of people who specialize in presentations. Many of them are like PowerPoint masters, but more importantly, they care about the whole process about getting those resources out. Anyways, they have a summit once a year, and it was hybrid. And he thought about like, how do I make the experience better for hybrid, right? And I pitched to him once, like, I could be your virtual MC. Let me take care of the virtual audience and make sure that everything's going right for them. I'll be their advocate. And so he agreed to that. In one of the programs, like all of us that were online were there, and we were going like, oh, we got to log off and go to the next session. And then somebody said, hey, wait a minute. Somebody actually canceled the next session, right? And the next session was what they called 5 minutes, which is people select and they say, for 5 minutes, give a presentation tip. And so we're like, well, nobody told us. Nobody even told me. Like I missed it. And so there's all these people. Somebody in the virtual audience goes, hey, I did prepared one of those 5 minutes, right? Would anybody like to hear it? And this is where the magic happened. Is that everybody in the virtual group said, yeah, let's do it. So we spotlit her, right? She started doing this 5-minute presentation. And then what happened right after that, Christopher, was the best 60 minutes of virtual in the last 2 years, right? The next person jumped in, like, I got a tip. And then somebody else goes, I don't have a tip, but I have something to share. And so it went on, and like 10 or 12 tips got shared. And it was this like jam. We were having fun. We were jamming. It was authentic. It was spontaneous. I actually got Rick, the organizer, halfway through. I texted him. I'm like, dude, you got to log in. You got to see this. And he logs in halfway through. He's blown away, and he comes in and he asks, he said, can you spotlight me? And I said, okay. And so Rick is here actually seeing what's going on. And he goes, I designed this conference as the lead organizer, worrying about FOMO, right? The fear of missing out for the virtual audience for the in-person stuff. He goes, now you have to make me think about reverse FOMO. Christopher, have you ever heard of reverse FOMO?
It makes perfect sense. I love it.
Right. So reverse FOMO, of course, is having to worry that the virtual is so good that the in-person audience is missing out.
Exactly. Or, in the old days, actually still current, people going to the baseball game, but listening to the game on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, hey, I don't want to. All right, I'm in Detroit. And, Ernie Harwell was the broadcaster. Everyone listened to Ernie. whether
Yeah.
you were a baseball fan or not. But if you went to the game, yeah, you listened to Ernie on the radio. So it is that sort of same thing. Now, one of the things you touched on, which I relish, I enjoy, I enthusiastically dive into. We are there. Part of the purpose of us being there is, well, what if? So you design a program and it is structured, it is, but there's always the what if factor.
Mhm.
So we are the guides, we are, the driver on this journey. But if an audible is called, if something happens, if magic, we are ready to take advantage of that and guide in a new direction. So, a comment that we have from Lori O'Grady, yeah, it's a form of improv.
Oh, totally. Thank you so much for that, Lori. You know, the form of improv is, of course, too, the basis of improv is yes and, saying, what can we do with this? Right? Like, can I give an example of yes and?
Of course.
Okay, I'm a virtual MC in another program that has 425 stores across the United States and Canada. So it's like their annual conference. Of course, it's coronavirus. I can't do that. So they're broadcasting to all these different stores. There's like over 2,000 people watching, right? So my job is actually to do the questions. I'm the moderator for the vice president to ask him these questions, right? So he can deliver these answers. And so I get to the close to the last question, right? You'll love this, Lori. And that all of a sudden I've said, hey, so VP Steve, do you have any other final comments, right? Steve starts talking, and all of a sudden it's this, Christopher's all right, and then Steve has to go out and he goes, forgot to tell you our headquarters is underneath the military base, right? That's a military jet. And so as the MC, right, this is a disruptive moment. But if you can embrace it and say yes and again, like I didn't think about this. This is if you get a really great virtual MC, this is one of the values you're getting is that they'll take something that could be really bad and make it really great, right? I go, everybody out there, go chat jets, right? And the chat blows up, right? Like 800 people chat jets. A whole chat blows up while this jet is going by. And then as soon as after the jet starts to taper off, right, I'm going like, I see how it is, Steve, right? You know, because they actually do a great job too. They spend a lot of their nonprofit resources in the company supporting the military. And I know this company loves the military. I see you arranged for a flyover to end your keynote. Thank you so much.
I like that. And
that was
to
it.
the yes and I worked in live radio. It is a forward only motion. So similar, if you're on the radio and you stumble over the name of a sports team, the
Yeah.
street, if you dwell on that, wait a second, I think I said Gradiot and it's really crash it. All right, let me redo this. You have taken everyone out of the story. They are now just like, wow, how's he gonna undig that hole? Oh, he's not. Wow, he is digging with a pneumatic shovel. Okay. But if you just go forward, yeah, somebody might come up, you mispronounced that. Yes, I did. But what was the point of the story? Oh, this incident happening over. Yeah, see, there you go. Just go forward and adapt. Yes, and the situation, move gracefully forward.
And with that, the audience in some ways doesn't care that you're perfect, Christopher. They care that you're authentic. They care that you're present, right? But they don't care that you're perfect, right? And I love this Brenda Miller, of course, from Metro Detroit, giving a shout out for the that is hilarious Jets comment. So thank you for that. Yeah, look at that. She even got the jet emoji. You get 5,000 points for that, Brenda.
Wait a second. I didn't know we were into the bonus points.
Oh yeah. I put invisible points for a lot of different things. Like,
okay,
Christopher is earning 100, interview points today. Because Christopher too, if you see, one of the things that I love about meeting Christopher, he doesn't say his company is Calm Clear Media. He's demonstrating it at every moment that this is calm, clear media. And that's what I think is important. I also think the other part, Christopher, and I think you might agree, maybe you have an example, that no matter if it's getting a little crazy, and it can get easily crazy in a very short amount of time in a virtual meeting, that you need to stay calm and clear if you're going to find a way out of it. Right.
Absolutely. And yes, there have been a few virtual events where things did not go quite as planned. Whether a speaker skipped their prep, a speaker never practiced sharing their slides, a speaker lost their Wi-Fi connection, and it wasn't the same person. No. As a virtual event producer consultant, yeah, I have a backup of the slides. One occasion, pardon me, Dr. So-and-so, I have your slides up and I have them right at the point where you were talking. Let's continue. Just that small, brief interjection, like, oh, I was going to panic, but darn it, I don't feel like panicking anymore.
That's a choice too, Christopher. Let me just say, because either your amygdala, right? You're that part of your brain, the animal part of our brain, it can easily take over. And for most people who don't practice, it takes over, right? And the panic either sets in or the heart starts racing, and I've had it happen too. Like, I know that I'm really invested in a program when my hand is shaking so bad that I sometimes can't click the mouse correctly. Right? Have you ever had that, Christopher?
No.
Oh,
but all right. So I have a question for you.
Sure.
See, I know something about you. When you say you couldn't click the mouse correctly, is it possible for us to get a image of what your setup is? Can you switch to that camera?
Yeah, of course. Here we go. So yeah, if you want to full screen this so we get the whole thing.
So this is not mission control. This is John Chen's studio.
Thank you for allowing me to share this, Christopher. What I love to tell people about this is that this is the result of probably failing faster than most people in the last 2 years. Right? Every time you see something on here, you need to look at it and know that there's 100 other things I tried that didn't work until I got something like this. So here, this is 6 screens, right? Actually, around the sides, I can have up to 16 with a collection of computers. Sometimes you need multiple computers for a program, right? I'm adding additional screens like this. This is my cell phone here. This is an iPad where I can play music from. If you see over here on the left-hand side, I have a mixing board. So now I can share music without having to click any additional buttons with it. This is probably one of the most important things. It's funny, Christopher. This is the thing I missed in the last 2 weeks on vacation going, I can push a button, right, and change my environment like that, all right? And I'm out in the real world and I'm going, where's my Stream Deck? Where's my buttons that I can push to change this thing? And I'm like, I can't do that anymore. And so, but what this does is speed up those things. So like now I can do, improv, like, let's see if I can do this. Oh, okay. So this is, I'm here in a water couch, right? Here's a sunset. Here's a backyard scenario, right? And, here's a 3-dimensional studio that I could get in, and all those things are now available to me. The point is that it's I can get to it faster now, and that also adds to the improv, right, Brenda? Is that the ability? These tools are useless unless you can figure out a way to connect them to the goal and the people and the purpose. And this
Exactly.
we can do it faster because, like Christopher, like in humor, right? I love humor. I love stand-up comedians. That if you miss the timing on a joke, it's over.
Exactly. And if you call back something that nobody remembered because it was mistimed, it's not a callback. It's just a second bomb.
Yeah. So like, let's see, Christopher, do you like video games?
A little bit.
Okay. Well, then here's some for the video games. Right.
Okay.
You can recognize. So here's another great one. Like I have these stuff now on push buttons. So like Christopher, have you ever gone into a virtual meeting that you were leading, asked a question and got nobody to answer?
Well, of course not. Theoretically. No. Okay. Yes.
Maybe
Well,
you've
of
seen
course.
somebody else, right?
Of course.
Okay. So here's my new button for that.
I love it. I love it.
So I have things like that. I have Jeopardy music. I have like a whole bunch of other things like that. And so that allows me to react to a meeting in a short amount of way. And again, I only do it if it's going to be an ad. In some meetings, it's not appropriate. Let me just make sure that that's clear. But um, if I know and I feel out the right audience, then I can look to
Absolutely.
do these things to try and add that energy.
Absolutely. Now, we have a suggestion from
Whoa.
Brenda.
Brenda, here, I'll tell you, yeah, thank you for that. And I love the cricket emoji you just put out. Christopher, I just emceed another program. It was day 4. All right. And it was really great. The tech team that was on site, it was hybrid. It was based in Georgia. And I was the virtual MC, and I virtual MC from here in Seattle. And anyways, on the last program, one of the last days and one of the last programs, for some reason, they lost audio for 34 minutes. Let me tell you, in hybrid, that's not good.
No.
So what did I do? As the virtual MC, as soon as I figured out they lost audio, I jumped back in. I presented this slide deck for 34 minutes, and I'd never seen this slide deck before.
Nicely done.
And that's actually a game that's called PowerPoint karaoke. It's another form of karaoke. You don't have to sing, by the way, Christopher, but I think you'd be really good at it. You have to present a slide deck you've never seen before. And they did it at South by Southwest. It was called Battle Decks. It's hilarious. People who are really great at it, you'll see that they're masters. They'll see another slide and they'll immediately incorporate it in as if they meant to do it. And in this case, that I actually presented the slide deck, I knew some of the base material that was actually inside of there. It was really around using recognition to hold on to your employees in an industry because, like everyone's having staffing challenges. And so, when they came back on and that restored audio 34 minutes, the audience asked the speaker a couple of questions and they came back and chatted back to me going, wow, John, you got that about 80 to 90% correct.
There you go. Now, and see, that's presentation, yes, and presentation improv. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, we should definitely do that. I think we should take, right, it's Brenda's idea.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And Brenda, let us know. Yeah, let us know if you know a virtual MC who you think we should battle.
Absolutely. Tag them in the comments.
Yeah.
Let them know the gauntlet has been thrown down. Heads will, okay. Laughter will be had.
Advancers will roll.
I like it.
That should be the trophy, a little like PowerPoint advancer.
Oh, of course. Of course. Give presentations that we are unfamiliar with, made by people who, I don't know, it doesn't even have to be a good presentation. It could be, hey, take the worst of the death by PowerPoint presentations. All right, on this slide, as you can see in the 200 lines listed, I go through a lot of detail on how to fix this one issue. The actual answer is, you just turn it off. It works just like your computer. Reboot it. Same works for small children. Reboot it. Give them a nap. When they wake up, hey, everything's happy.
Oh my goodness. Should I actually try and open a deck? I actually have, you could give me a number we could present for 1 minute, Christopher. Do you want to try?
You know what? Yes, and.
Oh my goodness. All right, hold on a second. Let me see. This is for real, people. This is live stuff, by the way. I just want to let you know this.
So none of this was rehearsed. So the hiccups, there is no protection. There are no innocent.
We will bounce between slides, Christopher. So as we advance slides, we will go back and forth. Okay.
All right.
Give me a number between people who are chatting too. Chat any number between 1 and 25. 1 and 25. Christopher gets final choice. Christopher, if we need for timing, you can of course select a number 1 through 25.
Well, you know what? I'll make the first choice. I'll go with number 14. 14.
Okay. This is actually a good one.
Uh-oh.
How
worried should I be?
I don't know, 1 minute. All you have to remember, like in a song, right? The song will be over in 1 minute or less.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Let's see if I can now share. Share a screen. Yep. There we go. Don't share these tips again. Okay, let's see. Okay, can you see a slide deck? Oh, you have to bring it in.
There we are. All right.
Okay. All right. 1 minute begins now. I will start, Chris, and then you'll go next, Christopher. Sound good?
All right.
3, 2, 1, go. Hey, we're going to cover some material today.
The first of 2 sessions to convey this important information to you.
We're going to show you how to get beyond PowerPoint to infinity and beyond.
Next week,
it's going to be PowerPoint karaoke. Of course. How could it not be?
well, of course, and PowerPoint karaoke is always on time. So to involve you, we want you to have something to say. Here's a quote that I'm not going to read to you because you can read it for yourselves. The quote is by Seth Godin.
Yeah, Seth is a great guy. I've read a lot of books by him, but the whole point is think about your finger. You need to know about the tip, that there are not rules, right? There are tips, right? Because rules are going to kill presentations. But the best part about rules is to break them. And the only way to best break them is with the tip of your finger.
Absolutely. So let's go over some of the basics. If you're conveying information, tell people what to expect. Give them spoonfuls of information. And when you're done, tell them what they've learned. Sum it up for them.
And all I can tell you in the closing of this presentation is that Christopher 1 and John Chen 1 equals 3. Thank you so much, everybody.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. All right, everybody out there who's watching this, give us some commentary.
And let's see. Lori O'Grady would love us to do that with number 23.
Oh my gosh. Let's see, 23. So let me show you, I think some of my, oh my gosh, let me show you some of the bad slide decks here. So I'm going to just show you what 23 is. And then I'm just going to speed through it though. Okay, here you go. If we were to select 23, look at this graphic.
Okay, so here are a lot of dudes and they have something to say. So therefore it must be important. Next slide. And as we can see, it is important because, hey, they not only sent us an email, but they sent us a Gmail. And here's our follow-up action. Once we have done this action that was been given to us by a bunch of dudes, well, of course, there is follow-up because a bunch of dudes always want follow-up.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and I got to share probably like one of the funniest and sometimes one of the top decks. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Oh yeah, here it is. This is one of my favorite slide decks. I actually ran this as a team building event in a hybrid program, and they chose this number, and this is what they got, right? Watch this. Christopher, chicken, 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 right? So here we go, right? Chicken, chicken, chicken. Oh, and if we take this flow graph of chicken, we'll find that there's chicken, 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 and there's a choice point at some point whether you need to decide chicken or chicken.
Oh, wait, what was that? Chicken or chicken? Because those convey a couple of different things, and chicken, I might be here for, but chicken, I don't know. Sounds suspect.
Oh, my best part here, watch this next slide. And then there's the chicken in the cloud.
Virtual chicken. Almost as satisfying.
So yeah, I actually, these are real slide decks, Christopher. I pulled off of the internet, and now I have a collection of them that I use for PowerPoint karaoke.
Okay, that is, we are fortunate that you have those. Now, can everyone have a better virtual meeting?
Yeah. Oh,
okay, what's a tip that you don't have to hire either one of us to have a better virtual meeting? You could do this one thing, and that one thing would be?
I think the number one thing that you can do especially that doesn't require any of this fancy tech. Like we've shown you a lot of cool stuff, right? But that's like for most people going, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put up 6 screens. But there's one thing that I tell most people that you can do that doesn't require any other extra technology. It's how you run the meeting. And to me, one of my second most popular class, Chris, is called Turn on the Damn Camera. Right. And it's actually not about turning on the camera. The class is actually an hour-long class on how do we create virtual psychological safety. And what does that mean? It just means that your virtual attendee feels safe taking a risk. Like Christopher, right? You took a risk with me. I appreciate that. Which means that, I must achieve hopefully some level of psychological safety, that we took a risk together, that you leaned in, you said yes, and we actually created hopefully something that was entertaining and different and maybe educational. And so in creating that psychological safety, there are some easy things to do, which is, find different ways to connect. Don't go straight to business. Find a way to connect. Like Christopher and I, of course, talked, before this program. We know each other. We've seen each other in other programs. Then the next part is be welcoming like this. We're able to interact right now. So even hopefully Brenda and Lori and Robin all feel safe enough to chat along with us. And that's what I really see is like, you can, the funny part about turn on the damn camera is that the worst way to tell people to get their cameras on is to yell at them, turn on your damn camera, Christopher. Right. And the best way to do it is to inspire them. Like, they do it themselves. So going right back to that volunteer example I gave at the beginning is that you, the attendee yourself, make what choice and how you want to engage. And that you, in this case, you feel safe enough to do more than you normally would.
Absolutely. And see, I will lean into that. When people feel a connection, when people feel that connection, they want to be recognized in that moment. They want you to see their head nodding. They want you to see the emotion that you have generated in them. They want to know that there's a connection.
What I love to say too, Christopher, like we're adding to that meetings manifesto. This meeting is different because you're here. Right? This meeting is different here because Brenda, Robin, Lori, and a couple others here, they're here. Right? We didn't do this segment unless they said something. This meeting is literally different because they're here. That to me is what makes a great virtual meeting. It's engaging because you're saying now, oh my gosh, they did something because I said something, right? And now I feel a part. I feel a part of that. And that's what I challenge each of you who are listening to this program. What can you do to, one, help people feel safe? And again, two, so they feel engaged in your virtual meeting.
So be authentic, be engaging, be present.
Yeah.
Okay. And, I would add to that, hey, have an agenda. Know why you're there.
Yeah, that's the planning. The planning piece is you got to have a goal, and sometimes the goal can be a non-goal. So for instance, Christopher, I have a happy hour every Friday. 5 o'clock is free, by the way. So if, I'll chat some resources for you if you want to join. And actually this Friday we're gonna debrief our road trip and the things that we learned on it. But anyways, the happy hour has been going on since March of 2020, every Friday. And its goal is actually that there is no agenda, that it's just a time for
people on LinkedIn connecting with you.
Oh, absolutely. Yes,
Okay.
I'm linkedin.com/in/CEO John Chen. Thank you.
And see, all right.
Feel free to engage with me there. I try and keep you up to date on everything from, social articles like that to the latest in Zoom updates so that you can stay up to date in your virtual world.
That sounds wonderful. Well, John, again, thank you. And thank you all for watching.